as you've seen, the wonderful speech made by Prime Minister Modi from the Madison Square, the impact of that can be gauged with a kind of massive crowd, but also if you look at the actual actionable point and actionable impact can be gauged through the policy makers of US and how people are, at the policy making level looking at Prime Minister Modi's vision and action plan. So we have Honorable Edward Royce. He's a member of Congress, and he's going to talk about the impact and his own analysis of what Mr. Modi has brought to US.
Well, first, obviously the speech was electrifying. There in the audience, you could see the impact, because this is the first time I remember a prime minister with this ability to articulate a vision like this. Not just to the Indian American community that was there, but there were many U.S. public officials. I chair the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I can just tell you, I saw the reaction of the business community when the Prime Minister talked about what could be done to cut through the old permit Raj, or licensing Raj as we call it here, and open up the market for trade and investment, and made that appeal to the Indo-American business community to invest in India. That very strong appeal and that vision in terms of the future of India and where India was going. The other observation I would make is that now the Prime Minister will go to Washington, D.C., and we will have meetings, the Speaker of the House and myself and others, and I've been in the India caucus for 20 years. I've seen it grow from 8 members to 160 members today. So I see the focus now changing. But in those meetings, I want to talk about what we can do to get LNG from Texas, and Pete Sessions is here. Get that exported into India, because India needs, for its economic growth, it needs energy. And we have a glut on our market. We're capping wells. We're flaring gas here. So there are a lot of issues that we need to talk to the Prime Minister about in terms of cooperation.
There's a policy framework amendment required in the LNG, with regards to LNG. How do you look at, as a congressman, as a senior congressman, do you look at, is it practical or is it feasible? How quickly can we amend those framework?
We have done it in the House with Pete Sessions' leadership on rules and mine on foreign affairs. The House Republicans, with support of some of the Democrats, have gotten that bill, that change through. Now we need to get the Senate to act. And when we go back into session on November 11th, it's our hope that one of the consequences of these discussions is to pull behind an energy policy which will help us export more to India. Another issue that resonated so powerfully here with members of Congress was the discussion about cooperation that the Prime Minister has talked about in counterterrorism. And you and I know that we need worldwide cooperation. We need New Delhi, Washington, D.C., Moscow, Beijing. We need the capitals of Europe and around the world a focus on terrorism. And before 9/11, India was already experiencing the terrorist attacks. Post 9/11, the United States came to understand what that was about. Now it's a worldwide phenomenon that we're challenging. I have had discussions in the past, while we've had our trips to India, about trying to get those Deobandi schools. There are about 600 of them in Pakistan. Getting those closed, getting the LET campus closed, making certain that the next generation of young men are not being radicalized. And so we all have a mutual interest in making certain this happens.
Definitely. So to counter that, to counter radicalism, definitely business can help. If we have more opportunities, the young man would not go into that particular field. So as a policymaker, you look at that as an option?
Well, one of the issues that the Prime Minister is working on is trying to further liberalize trade all through South Asia. And I think that will help throughout the region. But I think the United States has a role to play in doing more trade and investment with India.
Now we also have Mr. Shali Kumar, who is the man behind bringing the Modi wave to the United States. And he, apart from my personal interactions with Mr. Kumar, it is my pleasure to have him in this distinguished panel, and let me just hear from him about how the Modi wave is going to bring change in the India-US strategic relation.
From my perspective, Fayaz, Prime Minister Modi is just not for India alone. I've been a student of history for a long time. I've been here 45 years, and I have not seen that dynamic, inspirational leader come across on a world stage as he has. Now, hopefully, maybe in 2016, Republicans will produce another Ronald Reagan, but so far, after John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, and Margaret Thatcher, from my point of view, we have not seen any leader of that magnetism with that message, and that could transform not only India, could transform the world. Like at one time when we had a Skype conference with Speaker Gingrich, Speaker Gingrich had said to him, that's 18 months ago at that time, that there is something you have figured out. The world needs to learn. 10% GDP growth, almost 0% unemployment, okay? And all these universities. I mean, he thinks out of the box. He's innovative. I'm an entrepreneur. It excites me to have a politician, a reluctant politician. He really was never a politician. He didn't want to be a politician, but he got put into that position as a chief minister. And always, constantly innovating. Smart cities, 100 smart cities you're going to create. Soil cards for farmers. Okay, just everything innovative. I just wonder whether he's got just a whole bunch of inventors with him, or he himself is just thinking of all these ideas. He's just great.
So you also represent NIAPPI Business Council and NIAPPI Institute, and you have a mandate to actually work on the issues which are sensitive towards making India-US relation more fruitful, more strategically together, so more result oriented. So what's your plan on that?
Well,
especially after Mr. Modi's dynamic visionary speech.
Well, it's a first step. This is a first step. There are a lot of steps to be taken, okay? And as you know, in the United States, we have a divided government. There is a pro-business, for sure, a House of Representatives, that's the U.S. Parliament, U.S. Congress, and on the other side, we have not so business-friendly other side. I'll just say that, okay? One, for example, of this is the S744 Immigration Reform Bill. That is a huge problem for Indian GDP that could get affected by 1.5% negatively, and also hurts the U.S. businesses in a big way. That is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. That's why he's against those anti-India provisions of the S744 bill. And I would, if I have one recommendation to him, be firm, not just a kind of just a gesture from President Obama, that he should get a real commitment to throw out the anti-Indian provisions of the S744 bill. That's one thing which you will definitely like to see.
So, Mr. Sessions, you tell me, how do you look at, if we look at, the amendments in the U.S. immigration bill draft, how quick can they be made, and what is the process ahead?
I think it's important to note that the Senate bill that came to the House of Representatives will not be one which we take into effect. We will write our own bill in the House of Representatives, and we will deal with these issues. So what are we for? What are Republicans for? Republicans are for giving people who want to come to this country an opportunity to do so in a legal way. And we want to reward them by being a part of our system, as we always have, to include them into our system, to come participate and make sure that they do so in a legal, thoughtful way. What did we hear today? We heard today from India's new dynamic Prime Minister about a strategic and a developmental reliance between our countries, where America, I think, leans more on India and India leans more on America, to where we work together for the benefit of at least 1,200,000,000 Indians. I would certainly like to have him say, and for Americans to be for this relationship, because it's in our best interest also. We view that having a strong India is not only important, but really in the long term will help America and the world with a region of the world. This region is so vital. There's poverty, there are problems, but for every one of those problems, there's a great opportunity. And so really, America, through its trade and immigration policies, can have much to play with being a strategic partner. Republicans in the House of Representatives, I think, hear this message so keenly because it's the Republican message of what we stand for. It's not just pro-business, as the NIAPPI Business Council is well positioned to understand, but it's really the Republican Party, and we will seek out through our great young leadership like Randy Holkren, by the young chairman of Foreign Affairs, Ed Royce. We will seek out and find commonality to where we can work with India and make our plays together stronger.
So we have Mr. Randy Hogan with us. So let's understand from him about this the change in the India-US strategic ties, and how do he look at bringing this particular contributing in this particular change.
Well, it was a great day. It was a very inspiring speech, and good for me. I'm one of the newer members of Congress. We had one of the largest freshman classes elected about 3 years ago. I came in that class. Many small business owners, business leaders who came to Congress to clean up our government, and exciting to hear Prime Minister Modii now talking about getting India working. The idea that government isn't there for the people to work for government. Government is there to work for the people and to cut through red tape and get things working again. That's what we need in America. We've taken some steps as Republicans in the House, but we need help to do that, to continue to make the United States of America work again. So exciting to hear about the Prime Minister's plans and even actionable steps that he presented today of what is going to be done and when it's going to be done. I think it's very exciting.
I would like to mention something to you, Fayaz. When we, NIAPPI, took the first business delegation or congressional delegation to India 18 months ago, March 28th and 29th in Gandhinagar, 18 months ago now. That was Kathy McMorris Rogers and Aaron Schock and Cynthia Lummis. We had a lot of discussion on solving the trade problem between U.S. and India. It's not my prerogative to make those discussions, those were private discussions. I was part of those discussions to make them public. That should come out from PM's office himself. But I can tell you only this. He has got an innovative solution for everything, including LNG. He's very well aware of that, and he had a great solution for that. He had a great solution for even civil nuclear deal and the liability problem, which is preventing the American companies. President Bush and Manmohan Singh worked so hard to get that civil nuclear deal done for almost 4 or 5 years, but not a dime has been spent. American companies have not gotten their investment, anything in return on that investment. In India, that needs all this energy, they haven't benefited either. But he had a fantastic idea. He surprised us when we were there in that meeting.
So we also have some leading Indian entrepreneurs in US, and we have US diplomatic policy makers as well. So, and Mr. Modi's message was very, very positive and strong for the Indian community here and entrepreneurs definitely. So let me reach to Mr. Anil Monga, who is an entrepreneur and president of NIAPPI Business Council.
I think, Mr. Modii has set up the stage. We can have a win-win situation for both parties by working like a team. As our children are born here, so they look Indian, but they are American Indians. These American Indians can bring business to America, because they understand the landscape on the other side. So this is the way Modi is trying to take advantage of the younger population. Younger population can get connected with our next generation and then can put both parties on a win-win situation. So I will say that the NIAPPI is trying to build a bridge to facilitate even the small businesses in India who don't understand the landscape of America, to facilitate to create a platform which will facilitate them to succeed in the United States. So I think sky is the limit, and we must work together as a team. And
that Make in India, that I'll make another comment there. See, I've seen this thing in the last 20 years, how the government of China has helped the small, medium industry in China become the manufacturer of the world. They know how to market to US companies, whereas the SMEs in India, they don't really know, they have all the expertise, they have the products, but they don't know how to market it. So that's NIAPPI Business Council is going to play a major role in actually creating a cell here that connects the SME. That's almost like 1 million businesses in India, engineering-oriented, electronic components, electronic sub-assemblies, electronic products, mechanical components, that they are actually better than the Chinese producers, but they don't know how to market it. So we'll create a cell for them that will be strategically beneficial for actually both countries, because India, as exports increase, that becomes made in India rather than made in China. And at the same time, U.S. wants to not totally depend on products made in China and have an alternate as well.
Prime Minister Modi, one of, another very interesting comment he made was, from a snake charmer's image, we have actually, got into a mouse charmer, which is quite interesting and in-depth. And for that, we have Mr. Vishal from Deloitte, who is an IT expert and a market research expert, who is going to tell us about the impact on trade for this particular speech, and also the actionable points, homework which Mr. Modi has actually given to our policymakers.
Thanks. I think the story is incredible, right? If we think that we've made progress and we have developed and we have relationships that have come through for mutual benefit in India and the US, I think we've not seen anything yet, right? This is going to go exponential. And we believe in Modi. We believe in his government. We believe in his policies, procedures, and the way he works. He is an all-encompassing politician and an action man, right, to me. This just feels right. So from the growth perspective and from where the technology is going to go and from where services is going to grow, I think President Modi was right on. India is a powerhouse. India is going to become a supplier for not only products but services going forward. There is a lot of services we share between US and India, and we have a lot of outsourcing based in India. But quite frankly, it's a fraction of where we are going. Right? We are going to produce nurses, we are going to produce doctors, we are going to produce engineers, and send them worldwide with the expertise. And imagine the impact of that in the world, positive impact of that. And this is going to be mutually beneficial. Right? This is going to increase business, is going to increase awareness, the cultural part of it, and this is all because of the right attitude of the present government in Modi.
So one more thing, in terms of the IT industry, how do you look at, although he has made comments on skill development, but how do you look at the IT industry can get benefited? Because there are issues like immigration bill, there's an issue of, the visa processes. How do you expect those points to be taken?
Sure, this is a very good question. So I think as part of the NIAPPI agenda, one of the key things that we are trying to address is 744. Right? Those arbitrary regulations should not exist. There is no rationale for it, there is no support for it, and why should they be there? Right? If the person is deserving, that person should be able to work regardless of the ethnic background, the culture, or where the person is born and brought up. So I think that needs to be addressed. But I think from a technology perspective, the technology of future would need people from all walks of life. And we produce more engineers than anybody else on this planet, as a fact. We have more colleges, we have more institutions, we have more structured education in India. So that alone is enough. And we've got, as President Modi, Prime Minister Modi said, 65% of the population is 35 or under. So you can just do the math and how exponentially it's going to grow.
So we also have Mr. SHERU, who would talk about, how do he look at, because he's an entrepreneur of India.
I think Prime Minister Modi's speech was exponential, we see a lot of young India, as you see. I mean, it's the first time in my lifetime I've seen so many educated young people gathering all together, and Modi has made India united outside India. And I think, it's a new movement for all Indians, it's a proud movement for all of us. And the main thing which I personally feel what Modi has done, he has united India. He's brought everybody in one forefront, and, the spirit of every Indian, where every Indian want to do good for their own country, is there. I mean, it has enlightened so many hearts, which I see from this speech. I think moving forward, you will see a lot of Indians from India and from outside India also doing wonders for India, and we're going to make India proud.
Yeah, thank you.
Just somebody reminded me, so I wanted to actually bring that point out. Aaron Schock, Congressman Aaron Schock, Chief Deputy Whip of the House of Representatives, and he's three-term congressman, already just 32 years old, and everybody believes that he's going to be one of these days the president of the country. So he arrived so young and so dynamic. He is part of NIAPPI organization, part of the NIAPPI Business Council. He's on the board of advisors, works very, very closely with us. It was through his efforts that $500 million check from World Poverty Program was given to India yesterday at Central Park. Instead of going to, let's say, Pakistan, or instead of going to Sri Lanka, or instead of going to, other country, there. So it was his very serious efforts that made the World Poverty Program decide that under Modi's leadership, it should really go to India.
We also have Mr. Bhailal, who is a very senior, NRI and a very old friend of Mr. Modi himself. May I understand, what he actually, and as far as I know, he's been in touch with Mr. Modi when he was not even the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and when he, so let's hear from him, about how do he saw Modi wave coming from, nowhere to everywhere.
Well, Narendra Bhai Modi is, he visited in 1993 and he visits Chicago. And that time he was very simple man. He come with only 2 pair of the clothes. And but he loved Vivekanand, and he wanted to come to, he was his dream to see the Vedant city Vivekanand. So he come to Chicago, and we take him to where the World Religious Parliament meet, where the Vivekanand spoke, my dear sister and brother of America. That place he saw there, and he saw so many things. Then I have a personal experience that one of my friend, in 2001, we were sitting together. That time he was only the Karyakarta, that he predicted, my friend, that he will be the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Then second thing he said, he will be the 12 to 13 years Chief Minister, and after he will be PM. Then my friend Narendra Modi said that your friend ne daru piya hai. So, but it's happened. Now today I see he spoke very well. That main thing I like it, that is a 3D, the democracy, demographic dividends and developments. And then third things, he covered the most of the thing, that mantra, vikas, Vijay and Vishwas. That also he covered in his speech. And moreover, I was have a tear in my eyes when it was very emotional speech, which affects all Indians in US.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mr. Sheru has pointed out, and the conversations we had with Indians and with Americans as well. So it made me realize as well that Mr. Modi has brought all of us under one roof, and we all are experiencing the same emotional you can say impact of this speech. So we have Mr. Kyle MONGA, who actually can give us, what he feel about the Modi speech, and as a young Indian American, how do he look at this particular whole change in the Indian political leadership and change in the overall environment in India?
Yeah, today was really eye-opening because I grew up. U.S. was always viewed as this superior force. This is the best, nation in the world. And slowly over the past few years, I've been seeing India move up, and it's something very new that's happening that I've been seeing. And with Modi, I'm very impressed by this guy because no matter how old he might be, he's able to inspire all the youth. He's getting all these people together. Even yesterday, before the concert, he was giving a little preface saying, "Hey, this is about peace, happiness, and love, and you are the generation that's going to bring that to the forefront." So he's really able to connect. And when you have a country, as Modi mentions multiple times, where so much of the majority of the country's population is below 35, you have to create that fire inside the generation to make them want to, do seva, right, service to the nation. So it's really cool, and yeah.
So what message did the young Indian American crowd has actually could have grasped?
I'd say the number one message for the Indian American crowd is be humble and be proud of where you're from, because you have the best of both worlds. I mean, you've grown up here, and there's been obviously such a strong. U.S. is one of the strongest backbones of the world, but you also get to benefit from your roots, back home, which are now able. Now it's one of the best times to be alive with these two parts of the world coming together, and you speak the language, you can connect to the people, you also can immerse in the culture here in the U.S. So, count your blessings and move forward with that.
This is an amazing impact I can visualize with young MONGA talking about this, and I'm really proud that the kind of speech I heard and the kind of feedback and analysis I heard from the diplomats as well as from the Indian entrepreneurs and young Indian Americans who are living in New York, and from in their hearts India's impact, and India is not only live but it's even growing. Thank you.